What's up YouTube? This is Brian from Bull Strength coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to show you how to train for an Atlas Stone event without having access to an Atlas Stone. So let me just start by saying that there is no better way to train for an Atlas Stone event than actually having access to Atlas Stones. So if that's an option, I would definitely go that route. And if you do have access to Atlas Stones, you could kind of use this video to get an idea of what kind of accessories you should be doing to get stronger at that lift. Now, there are several methods for making homemade Atlas Stones. I believe Juggernaut Training Systems has a couple of videos up on that. So if you're interested in going that route, it is pretty expensive. It's going to require you to buy about 4 or 5 45-pound bumper plates, which are usually about $150 to $200 a piece. So, I mean, if you don't have, like, you know, anywhere from like $500 to $800 in your budget, this would be a good alternative if you're in a pinch. Like, if you really want to get into competing in strongman, you just want to get your feet wet, you're not sold on trying to bring home any kind of prize or, you know, win any kind of world records or anything like that. This is mostly just a guide for people who are eager to compete but don't have access to Atlas Stones or the money to actually make them themselves. So that being said, in order to get stronger at this lift, we're going to have to break it down piece by piece and sort of reverse engineer every little individual part of lifting an Atlas Stone. The first part of lifting an Atlas Stone is going to be gripping the Atlas Stone. So obviously you want to have crushing grip, especially if you're doing any kind of strongman meet. There's going to be some sort of a grip intense exercise regardless of if there's stones or not. So you should be training your crushing grip regardless. And when I say crushing grip, I pretty much mean anything that requires you to grip your fingers into your palms. Now, as far as doing grip training that is more specific to the Atlas Stone event, you want to be doing more open finger gripping to really train the extensor muscles in your forearms. These are going to be key to actually getting your fingers opened up around the stone and having enough grip to be able to lift it up. Most of my favorite exercises involving the open finger grip actually involve turning a kettlebell upside down. So taking a lighter kettlebell, turning it upside down, chalking up your hands, and grabbing the kettlebell by the bell itself. Now, you can either do what I'm doing in this video, where you just hold it for time, and you can also do curls and rows with these as well. Another one of my favorite exercises for open finger grip training is the waiter press. This is a great way to hit all the extensors in your forearm, but this is not very grip specific. So it's not really training your fingers to do any kind of crushing like you would with the upside down kettlebell. That's kind of more of the grip strength that we're after, but this waiter press here is a great accessory for those. And the next thing you have to consider during this first phase of lifting the Atlas Stone is hugging. And to build up strength with the hugging aspect of lifting an Atlas Stone, we're going to have to use exercises that emphasize arm adduction. So exercises that are going to build strength in terms of bringing your arms in towards each other. And the first exercise for building adduction strength is the most obvious one, the dumbbell fly. So you can do these with dumbbells. You can also do them with cables or bands. Just pick your poison. Personally, I did these for higher reps. I'm not really a huge fan of doing heavy dumbbell flies. I think it's kind of stupid. I don't think it's good for you. But training these anywhere from 8 to 15 reps is going to be great for building up that hug. And the next exercise for building up hug strength is an isometric hold using a couple of plates. So grab a couple of 25s, 35s, 45s, whatever you can handle. Open up them fingers and squeeze them together as hard as you can. You're pretty much going to lift the plates up to about where you would start doing dumbbell flies. And you're just going to hold it there for time. Now, you can also bring these down to your chest and press them. But I preferred to do the static hold only because this strongman meet that I did involved a bench press, and I didn't want to go overboard with the volume. And the next phase in lifting an Atlas Stone is going to be lapping the Atlas Stone. So this is going to require a combination of pulling strength as well as the ability to be able to set the stone on your legs without feeling like your legs are about to shatter. So one of the things that I use to get comfortable with setting heavy weight on my lap was a strongman log. So I would pretty much set a strongman log on my quads and try to keep it there for time. Now in this video, you see the log is empty, but obviously when I was training for the event, I was using the same weight that I would be using in the event. So that way, when I actually did lift the Atlas stone and lap it, my body wasn't completely shocked by having the weight sit there for a couple seconds. Now, trust me, setting an Atlas stone on your lap is not comfortable whatsoever, but this is a good way to kind of get your body used to it, because if you're not used to it, it's going to shock the living shit out of you, guaranteed. All right, let's talk about rows. And when we're talking about rows, we pretty much shouldn't be talking about anything aside from the Pendlay row. I think that this was absolutely the best accessory for lifting the Atlas stone, only because it mimics the motor pattern almost perfectly. Your chest is directly over the bar, just like how your chest is over the stone as you lift it. The form is very similar to lifting a stone. So no doubt that the Pendlay row is the best rowing accessory that you can possibly do for the Atlas stone. Personally, I train the Pendlay row about once a week for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps apiece. And the last part of lifting an Atlas stone is the loading phase. The loading phase, which is basically a triple extension with a little bonus extension in your thoracic spine. So, what lift can we use to mimic this? What lift is going to cause extension in our ankles, knees, hips, as well as thoracic spine? If you guessed the log clean, then you are right. So with the log clean, we pretty much have all of our bases covered. As far as the lifts that I did that carried over into the Atlas stone, I feel like progressing with log cleans was the most important, since it pretty much checks off every box that you're going to need to get a stone up. You have to lift the log, you have to set it on your quads just like you do with an Atlas stone, and then you have to use triple extension to get the log up into the rack, which when you hold the log in the rack, you are forcing thoracic extension. So for me, overall, this was the best lift for getting stronger at the Atlas stone. I attribute my ability to even lift the stone to focusing heavily on the log clean. Now with lifting the log, there are 2 different variations as far as the form goes. So some people, they row the weight up, and some people deadlift it and then set it on their lap. If you look at my log clean tutorial, I actually used the deadlift and set method instead of the row method. Now, in terms of using this to carry over into Atlas stones, you're going to want to use the row method, since the row method is going to carry over better into the Atlas stone lift than the deadlift method. Now, if you don't have access to a strongman log, I recommend you get good with power cleans, power snatches, as well as rack walks, since that's going to cover all your bases as far as all of those extensions go. Now, that's not the method that I use, so I can't say that it's 100% proven, but I imagine if you do progress with the power clean and power snatch and rack walk, that would have some pretty good carryover as well. And since the loading phase of lifting an Atlas stone is typically the one where people snap their biceps, it would definitely behoove you to incorporate some bicep curls into your training. Now, we're not doing anything heavy. I focus mostly on lightweight for about 15 to 25 rep sets. Incorporate these on your upper body day just to kind of bulletproof your bicep tendons a little bit, since the biceps are usually the first thing to go in strongman competition. All right, I'll just add one final thought here. So, another key thing that I used in my training that I feel like helped carry over quite a bit was actually practicing stone loading with a medicine ball. And I'm talking about one of those full-size medicine balls that's roughly about the size of an Atlas stone. Now, obviously, it's going to be a whole lot lighter, but you're going to be able to mimic the motor pattern with a larger medicine ball. Personally, I was taking trips down to MacDill Air Force Base once a week, because at MacDill, in the gym that they have there, they have a bunch of 100-pound medicine balls. So I was able to kind of lap and load 100-pounders and kind of get good with that. Even though the competition required a 225-pound stone, I still used a similar object to get the motor pattern down. So I would highly recommend that. If you have access to any kind of medicine balls, go ahead and do some stone loading with those. Alright, that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. Just keep in mind that this is not a replacement for being able to train with Atlas stones. But like I said, if you're in a pinch and you want to do a strongman competition and you're looking for a way to train with Atlas stones without actually having access, this is a method that actually worked for me. In the 60 seconds that I had to load that 225 stone for as many reps as I could, I managed to get off 6 reps without really training with an Atlas stone. So I was pretty proud of that. And yeah, anybody out there, you guys can use this method. Or like I said, if you already have access to Atlas stones, this would be a good list of accessory movements that you could use to kind of help you out with those. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to everyone that subscribes to me on Patreon and Subscribestar, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.